It's another What's in My Camera Bag video. I know you love these. There's been a few updates since the last. This bag, much better than the other one. The other one was the tactical bag, which as a bag it's alright, but for mirrorless it wasn't great. It was too deep, which meant my mirrorless cameras, although they couldn't move from left or right, they could move up and down. Yeah, you could pad it out with loads of sponge and foam, but it did look a bit like a Ninja Turtle on my back. This one is a lot slimmer and it fits a lot better. So on this bag you have some zips on the outside. I haven't made any use of that yet, but I'll be doing a full review on this bag in time. Let's just dive in to what is inside for now. As you can see, I find that the camera fits in a lot better because it hasn't got, the other bags are almost up to this level, and it means that they can go up and down unless you pad it all out. Okay, one of these, found it in some store for about $2, so just take it around as and when. So let's get the big boy out the way first. We all know by now what this one is. It is the A7R2, which since the announcement of the new Canon 5D Mark IV, this is looking, for a 1-year-old camera, even healthier. I thought I was going to have camera envy with the new Canon, but no, it hasn't happened. So there we go, the A7R2, and the strap on this is the Peak Design strap. I don't particularly like in this strap the fact that this could scratch, but so far so good. I've got a screen protector on this anyway. Attached is a lens that I use quite a lot for video. So I use Super 35, which crops it in 1.5 times. So I find this lens quite good for video. So this is the FE28 f2. Cheap and cheerful, does what it says on the tin. Ronsil. So there we have it. The A7R2. Very nice camera indeed. Let's put that down there for now. Move that over here slightly. Okay. So, moving on. What do we have here? Ooh, what could this possibly be? Well, here we have the i40 Nissin Digital i40. That's what it says on the tin. Again, a lot of my stuff just sort of works. I was thinking about the i60, but it just looked too big. Just too big on the camera. This can be moved. There you go. A bit more stuff there. It can focus. There you go. Okay. Has a little stand there as well. Yeah, you know, it's not going to win any awards, but if you need it, it's there. It's fast. It's easy. Job is good. Okay. Moving on. Let's get this big beast out of the way. What do we have here then? Well, we have the FE 4.5 to 5.6 70 to 300 G OSS lens. Yes, it doesn't have the best aperture in the world, but for reach natively, what can you do? You know, if you do need to reach out, you don't really have that many options. I was going to buy the 70 to 200 f4, but my friend's one broke in half. It's never a good sign, is it? Good old Sony quality control. Speaking of Sony quality control, I don't know if you can see this in the video. It's going to be hard for you to see, but there is a massive flake of dust under the glass, but I've come to expect it now, to be honest. From Sony lenses, I've had dust and stuff in just about everything, so it doesn't affect the pictures from what I can see. So truck on, soldier, truck on. That is a microphone. I don't use it very often, so I didn't go for anything powered. I just use it as and when, so it just sits in the bag with a cloth. Nice and easy. I have this one. I have the bigger one that I keep in the house, and then this one just comes with me for if I need something when out and about. I take this little torch with me as well. No idea why, but it just seems to live in the bag. Moving on. Okay. This little nifty 50 is what I use when I just want to dump the camera real fast in a bag, like a secondary bag, and just go on my travels. Even if I've just got the camera slung over my shoulder, I'll just put this little guy on. It's so light. It was this or the 35 2.8 little pancake lens, but in the end I went with this one, about a quarter of the price anyway. It's not a fast focusing lens, don't get me wrong, but I'm not using it for stuff that I need. This is like a travel lens, and buildings don't tend to move that fast, so we're all good. The charger. This is for the flash. Now you're going to wonder about this. Yep, here we have an APS-C lens, which, as you know, 4K video doesn't need ultra high resolving lenses. So if I want to be out and about with a really lightweight setup, stick this little guy on, and even has the power zoom feature if you need it. So for lightweight video use, slap the camera in Super 35, put this guy on, and you have an extremely lightweight setup for daylight use. It's not going to be great in low light, but for daylight use, it's just fine. Now, I'm sure most of you Sony guys know what this little beast is. This is my favourite lens, and realistically, it's the lens that I use for any of my photos where I'm really looking for that certain look. And if you've seen the photos from this, you know all about that certain look. It is, of course, the G Master. There we are, the 1.485 G Master. This is my favourite lens in the FE system, and yeah, for my portraits, when I'm doing stuff that I really want to get some great looking results, slap that guy on, and it has never failed to impress. Love that guy. Okay, this bag comes with this little fella here, which is nice, and in here I have a variety of cables, remote shutter release. This has also got an extender for the microphone. If I ever wanted to set the microphone down on a table, I can extend it to the camera. In this pocket, I have loads of straps and all the different kind of mounts for tripod systems, little wrist straps and things go in here. And in here, this is what every Sony user needs loads of batteries. So there's 3 in there at the moment, 1 in the camera. I've got another one on charge. So I've got 5 batteries in total, and I do like that little case. It just slaps in there, and if you ever need to put more stuff in the bag, you can just remove him and you have some more space. So what about in the top section then? Well, what we have is this is a, I think this is, yeah, this is a 77 ND filter on its own. This is a 77 ND filter with a step down ring to 72. In here we have a 49 ND filter, so that's what I can use on both the 28 and the nifty 50. In here I have a lens cleaning cloth, although I don't really use it on lenses. It's quite good actually, this for the back screen of the A7R2. And of course a cap for the camera. So there we have the collection. I gotta say that when all this stuff is in the bag, it is a heavy beast. So if I know that I'm just going traveling, I'll use the smaller bag, which is also reviewed on the channel. I'll put in the A7R2 with this lens, the little 50mm lens if I'm going traveling, maybe 1 battery, sling that in a little bag and just put my phone, wallet, away we go. This one is for when I'm going all out on the aeroplane or traveling. It's not what I use for a daily trip out. It's just too much stuff. You don't need all of this just to take for your daily trips out. This is my full gear bag, grab bag for when you need to take all the kit with you. But I feel like this is a nice solution to enter in to the world. You've got your 28, which it is what it is. It's cheap, it's cheerful, and it does have some distortion, but you can correct that in post. It's no issues. And if you're not sure what kind of photography you're going to be doing at first, don't be spending like $1.5 grand on one of the Zeiss lenses for landscape. Grab this to see how you go with it. You can get an adapter that takes it down to 21 as well, although I wouldn't recommend that on the A7R2. It's better for the A7 II and the A7 and the A7S and the A7S II. Once you go past the 28, we then got this little nifty 50. Now at the moment there are a load of nifty 50s for the Sony cameras, including one just released today, which is a 50mm macro lens for the full frame from Sony. I think there's about 9 or 10 50s out there. Now this is the cheapest full frame 50 Sony lens. If you don't know what focal length you're going to stick for, grab this one, give it a try, and if you find that 50 is your absolute hero, then you can go for the 55 1.8 Zeiss lens, or if you're just loving the 50, you can go for the 50 1.4 Zeiss lens, which will set you back around 1.5 Gs. So not cheap. You've got to know that that's exactly what you're looking for. For video and for vlogging, you could quite easily put this guy on, stick the camera into Super 35 4K or 1080, and it would be quite a neat little vlogging lens if you're not going into low light situations, because it's not a very fast lens. But for daylight vlogging, could be a nice one to keep the weight down. Or if you want a faster lens, go for the 28, and then you have a much faster lens. When I first got the A7R2, I brought the 24 to 240 because I thought that would just cover all my bases. But I am a little bit of a pixel peeper, and when I was viewing those shots on the 4K screen, wasn't happy. So instead, this is what I've ended up with. Now, once you go past the 50, I then enter into this 70 to 300 territory, which a lot of people have switched to this one from the 70 to 200. It is about 1.5 Gs. It's not the cheapest, but at the same time, if you compare it against the 70 to 200 2.8, then it is cheap. If you're going to be shooting low light and you need telly, then you want to be going the 70 to 200 G Master, of course you do, but you've got to know that you want to do that because you're going to be spending the money. Another lens I brought was a 24 to 70 G Master lens, because I thought that would also take care of this 2.8 G Master, but compared to the 85, the 24 to 70 2.8 G for portraits just didn't come near this bad boy. This was the one for my portrait use. I returned the G Master because it had fault on it. You can see all about that. I made a video about it, but I got this one instead, and I do prefer it. So we've got all the way from 16 to 50 on this little APS-C lens for video. We've got a 28 that can also be, that's on the camera, that can also be a 21. We've then got a 50, we've got an 85 and a 70 to 300. So I feel like this is quite a nice base to be prepared for any eventuality. So I'm done for now until the next lens or the next body comes along, and no doubt it'll be something else. It's been emotional, guys.